This is where it starts to get brutal. It's nearly there, 1 minute. Did I manage it? Could I repeat my ramp test in a 20-minute test the next day? The answer is...
In the preparation to the National Hill Climb, I was training like crazy to hit about 6 watts per kilo for about 4 minutes. Now, obviously that is not necessarily going to translate to threshold work, but I'm really curious to see what's happened to my threshold from all of that training. In order to test then, I've got two main options really, a ramp or a 20-minute test. Now I know there's some other ones available, but they're generally considered the main two ways. Now, because of all the hill climb training, I would expect the ramp test to probably over-egg my FTP by a bit. That's actually going to be a really interesting thing from this video, seeing whether I can replicate the result from the ramp test into a 20-minute test. First up then is the ramp test. Now, this is generally typical to skew towards people with a higher VO2 max, and it can often over-egg your FTP a bit. Now, the way it works is every minute my turbo is going to up the resistance and up the resistance and up the resistance by 20 watts at a time until I can't push the gear anymore. I'm going to use Zwift to run this because it's just nice and easy, and that's what I use for all my training. But there's so many different ways you can do this if you want to give it a go.
Right, almost time to go. Now obviously there's only increments by 20 watts at a time. We start off like 100 watts, don't even feel like I'm pushing any resistance. But it very, very quickly builds up, this one. So the early part of this ramp test is just to build some fatigue in your legs really. The last time I did one of these, I managed to get to, in the region I think of just over the 400 watt marker. So I would like to beat that. My estimate would be I'm about a 320 at the minute. But we'll see, I don't know, it might be a bit lower than that. Finally, we're up at my kind of zone 2 numbers. Now, my heart rate will go up because I'm talking, but this is usually what, 200 to 220 is what I'll go for, depending on how fresh I feel for a zone 2 session. I don't know what it is, but I find it way easier psychologically to put power down when my avatar's going uphill. Right, here comes the 300 watt banner now, this is where it's going to start to hurt. Oh. This is where it starts to get brutal. It just gets harder and harder. Normally in an interval you're hanging on for the end. You know you get a break. You're hanging on for the end here just to get harder. Not long. 3:14, that sounds about right. Flipping out, that was hard. I am absolutely cooked from that. Set me at 3:14, which actually I think is pretty respectable. I think that's about where I am. I think I survived the 4:20 block, maybe, I can't remember. But yeah, so tomorrow goal is holding 3:15 for 20 minutes. That was really stupid of me. It's obviously not 3:14 because that's 95% of what you can hold for 20 minutes. So cooled down now, and I've just ran the calculations. In order to get an FTP of 3:14 from a 20-minute test, I've got to push 3:30 for 20 minutes. Now, I think that is possible, but that's going to be blooming difficult tomorrow. So anyway, I'll see you all tomorrow. Day 2 then, we're back on the turbo. This time we're doing a 20-minute test. Just got to do the warm-up now. The real challenge with a 20-minute test is not overcooking it. You've got to go out and you've got to hold a consistent power for that 20 minutes. So my plan is, I'm going to start at that 3:30 at least for 10 minutes, and then we'll just see what happens after there. Yet again, doing it on outdoors, I can dig so much deeper when it looks like I'm going uphill. And now if anyone is interested, my plan is to rerun this test outside and see how my 20-minute power varies from inside to outside, because I think I really get affected by the temperature. And here we go. that's 5 minutes in now. Start to work up a sweat, but not dying just yet. Halfway now. Oh, this is hard. You see the end banner? It's nearly there, 1 minute. Did I manage it? Could I repeat my ramp test in a 20-minute test the next day? No, of course I couldn't. After all that hill climb training, probably wouldn't have expected it. However, it's a lot closer than you might think. I needed to replicate the same FTP that I got from the ramp test to hold 331 for 20 minutes. However, I did actually manage 324, so it's quite close considering I had yesterday's effort in my legs. I did a 7-hour ride around the lakes on Tuesday. For reference, it's Saturday today. I obviously did the ramp test yesterday on Friday, and the previous Sunday I raced the National Hill Climb. So my legs probably are a bit tired, and I'm going to have to repeat this later to see whether I can replicate it. Now, another caveat, I know for a fact my indoor power is quite significantly lower than what it is outdoors by maybe 5 to 10 watts. So if you want to see me attempt this outdoors and see how it compares, get yourself subscribed, and very soon I'll have a video up comparing an indoor and an outdoor 20-minute test. Right, now it's time to cool myself down and then we'll have a look at the results. So, the results are in. My ramp test gave me an FTP, as we know, of 314, whereas my 20-minute test gave me a result of 308 watts. I'm going to stick with that 308 for setting my training zones moving forward, as it's way better to slightly underestimate than overestimate and risk blowing yourself up and going too hard. Now, this isn't meant to be a scientific video. It's just about looking at what worked for me and for my training and what impact my hill climb prep had on it. Even though I focus on short, high power efforts for the National Hill Climb, it's clear from these results that actually that has translated into a boost in my FTP. If you look back in around late August time, my FTP, I was around 290, 300. So that is a clear improvement, and I'm really excited about that, and it's really promising. Going forward then, as we move into winter, I'm going to be doing a big block of a few months of just solid base training. I'll be revisiting this test and maybe a few others after winter to really see what impact that massive base block has had on my fitness. So if you're into following that real training of a proper amateur who has to balance a job and the rest of my life, hit that subscribe button, and I'll be posting updates throughout the winter. I'm genuinely excited about what my potential could be next season with some real focused training in place through the winter, and I'd love to share it with you all. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.